Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to another video. So for today's video, I wanted to talk about my coming out story in honor of Pride Month. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is because Pride Month is a very special month for me. This is the month where we celebrate our fight for freedom, we fight for equal rights, and we fight for our voices to be heard. This Pride Month alone, Pride 2019, numerous trans women have been killed just for being who they are, and that's disgusting. It's disgusting. And I think the more we talk about it, the more our voices can be heard, and power is in the numbers, guys. So my story all started when I was a child. When I look back and think about my childhood, it makes sense. The things that I did are not what a normal boy would do at that age. For example, I was obsessed with Hannah Montana. My cousin, she actually had a Hannah Montana wig and the microphone, and I used to run around the house wearing that Hannah Montana wig, rocking that microphone like it was nobody's business. And I killed it. I loved it. It was fun to me. I remember sleeping in that freaking wig. That, yeah, I was that little kid. Growing up, all of my friends were girls. I had some guy friends, yes, but I remember it not being the same. I remember not being as comfortable as I was when I would hang out with my female friends. When I was in middle school, at my middle school, the guys had their own table in the quad, the girls had their own table in the quad. Not like a designated thing, but that's just how the cookie crumbled. And I was always at the girls' table because that's who I got along with. And I remember one time one of the girls asked me, hey, why don't you hang out with the guys? And I just remember telling them like that, I don't talk to them like that. I don't know them like that. And that's just the way it was. Come 8th grade year, that's when I started getting the idea. I remember that's when I started getting thoughts, and I've convinced myself over and over and over again that it's just a phase. It's just a phase, it'll pass. Wrong. I quickly learned that the more you suppress your feelings, the more they're gonna come back and bite you in the ass. Growing up, I didn't know what being gay meant. I didn't know what it was. I remember running around recess and we'd always say, oh, I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay. Everybody would do it. I'm gay, and that means I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. That's just what our interpretation of it was, which it is. But that's as far as the meaning went for us at the time. And I remember when I was in 4th grade, there was this kid named Daniel. He was in 6th grade. And I remember just being admired by him, and I wanted to be his friend. And I don't know what it was, you know. I went as far as like copying his hairstyle. He had a specific hairstyle, and I went and I started doing the same hairstyle, and that lasted years. That lasted at least 4 years. I would do that hairstyle, and I don't know why. It was just, I was drawn to him. I didn't know what that meant, and now looking back, I probably had a little boy crush on him. Which brings me to the convo of like so many people saying, oh, it's a choice. You're not born gay. You're not born this way. You're not born that way. You made the choice. I didn't have a choice. We don't get a choice in who we're attracted to and who we love. That's beyond our control. Who I find myself having chemistry with or not having chemistry with, that's beyond my control. That's not something that I pick and choose. If I was having these thoughts in 4th grade, too young to even understand what love is and what being gay meant, how would you even begin to say that I had a choice? Because I didn't. So fast forward to 2017, that was the year that I would truly say that I hit rock bottom. Up until this point, that was my breaking point. I've ruined so many friendships. I've ruined so many relationships with people. It's honestly sad. I look back and it was so sad. So come September of that same year, I remember just thinking like something has to change. And I started thinking and sitting and just reevaluating my life. And I remember thinking the one point that's always been made throughout my entire life is, Ray, are you gay? So I started thinking, like, what if they're seeing something that I'm not? And I thought, I've had these feelings for so long, and I've suppressed it and just brushed it off and just said, oh, it's a phase. Maybe it's not a phase. I remember one day in August, September of that year, I texted a friend of mine who I went to high school with. I've known him since I was a freshman and he was a senior, Matt Hill. I'm sure you guys all know of him. I texted him and I told him exactly how I was feeling. He was the first person I've ever felt comfortable confiding in with what I'm feeling. I didn't tell any friends at that point. I haven't told any family. I didn't tell anybody. But I felt comfortable telling Matt. So I texted Matt exactly how I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, what's going through my mind, and he knew exactly what to say. And I remember Matt telling me specifically, ignore what you grew up of what's right and what's wrong in terms of religion. What do you feel? What feels right to you? And I knew exactly what he meant. I knew exactly what the answer was, but I was too afraid to admit it. For months, I couldn't even spit the words out, I'm gay. I couldn't even think it, but I knew what it was. But I was too afraid that if I say it, then it'll be real. I remember texting my friend Jasleen, and I told her, would you still be my friend if I told you that I might be gay? And she said, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. And she said, yes, why would I stop being your friend? Oh my God. That's exactly what I needed to hear. And when coming out, it's like a snowball effect. You tell one person, and then you tell another, and you tell another. And then you get to a point where you're comfortable with the idea of it. And I know people are gonna watch this and think, Ray, you're being so damn dramatic. But you have to understand, it's scary. Yes, we live in a society where it's more accepted now, but just as much acceptance is just as much hate. And my people die over this. My people die for being who they are and loving who they love. So moving forward up until the day I actually came out to the world, I had told, a friend here, a friend there. I've told a handful of people. But the ones who I couldn't tell were my family. I grew up in a Christian household. I grew up with gay being a sin. That same year, in July, I had went to my grandma's church where she was a minister at to celebrate her birthday. That's the first time I stepped into a church in a few years. And I remember that one day where I was in church, I was sitting during the sermon, and the pastor just so happened to be telling the story of Adam and Eve and how God made Adam for Eve, not Adam for Steve. And from then on, I swore against religion. I love my God. I believe in my God. But from then on, I haven't stepped foot in the church. I can't sit in a church full of people who are so against me and so against who I am. So come the day that I actually came out, which was December 2nd, 2017 of that same year. So up until this point, I was comfortable with it. I was comfortable with the idea of it. I could actually say it like, hey, I'm gay. But it was a matter of just putting it out there. And that was terrifying to me. I wasn't ready. So that day, I was at home with my grandma and my cousin, and we were eating breakfast. And my cousin, out of the blue, says, Ray, tell grandma that you're not gay and that you're not hooking up with so-and-so. It doesn't matter who it is. That's beyond the point. Well, I had half a second to react, and I just thought, it's now or never. So I said it. I said, but I am. And I remember my cousin looking at me. He was like, wait, what? And I told him, I'm gay. I'm not hooking up with so-and-so, but I am gay. That was the first time I've ever told a family member. And my cousin said, well, all right then. And my grandma said, well, that's okay. And from that moment on, I knew it was gonna be okay. It was gonna be okay. And my grandma even went and cracked jokes. She was like, well, I'm gay too. And I was like, Grandma. So that was that. But that was how I came out to my family, or at least two people of my family. And I went to my room and I thought, it's a matter of time before that catches up to everybody else. So I thought, in some way, shape, or form, I need to have control on this. So I took to Twitter and I posted a picture with a long caption, and I said, you know, I spoke my truth, and I'll put it right here. And I've never felt more free. I've never felt more liberated. I never felt more at peace with myself. And from that moment on, I felt myself changing. And to paint you a picture of exactly what I was feeling, I found myself coming out of a shell I didn't know I had, if that makes sense. I started acting a certain way. I started talking a certain way. I started doing certain things. And that was just me becoming me. Me, prior to myself coming out, was a reserved version of me. And even now, 2 years later, I'm still growing, and I'm still learning who I am and who I love and who I like and who I don't like and what I like and what I don't like. But even with all that said and done, it's not always sunshine and rainbows, because on the opposite side, it's just as scary. Even to this day, I can't bring myself to go to Pride Parade. I can't go to a gay club or anything like that, because that makes me a target. And as dramatic as it sounds, it's true. Y'all seen what happened at Pulse nightclub in Orlando. Just a week ago, Fab, a gay club here in Tower District where I live, they had threats saying that they were gonna get shot up. And then a few days later, they made an arrest with multiple guns and ammunition ready. What if I or a friend or anybody for that matter were there that night? There's so much freaking hatred in this world, and it sucks. At the beginning of Pride Month, I was at Ross with a friend of mine, and I saw this backpack, and I thought, I have to have it. I told myself I wouldn't wear it because it would make me a walking target, but I have to have it. So I bought it. And I was so proud to have it. I texted all my friends. I was like, hey, look at this new backpack I bought. I texted one friend in particular, Michaela, and I told her about it. And I told her why I'm afraid to wear it out in public. And she was so disheartened. And then a few hours later, she makes a post on Facebook about the situation, not with my name mentioned, how sad it is. And it really opened my eyes to the fact that, like, it's not okay to be afraid all the time. It's so disgusting. There was a 9-year-old boy in Brazil whose 2 moms killed him, decapitated him, skinned him, almost gouged his eyes out because he told them that he wanted to be a girl. Boys across the nation are committing suicide because they're gay. It's not okay. I've heard people tell me that, oh, it's no big deal to come out. Or I've heard people refer to other closeted gay men or women saying, oh, I don't know why they don't just come out. This is why. People die over it. Those 2 women lovers who were beaten on a bus because a group of men wanted them to kiss, and they didn't want to, and they were beaten for being gay. I've been told I'm doing too much, that I've made being gay the center of my world. But at the end of the day, I stand in solidarity with my gay brothers and sisters, with my trans brothers and sisters, with my non-binary brothers and sisters, the whole LGBTQ plus community. I stand strong with my people, because this is a fight worth fighting for. I've seen posts multiple times of, oh, the LGBTQ plus community aren't brave. They aren't this, they aren't that. They're annoying, they're sensitive. Which, trust me, I know they're sensitive. But you don't get to say we're not brave when we face the backlash we do, when we face the criticism, when we face the threats. I'm one of the lucky ones. I wasn't kicked out of my home when I came out. I wasn't banned or shunned or fired from my job, which in some states it's still legal. In some countries, it's still legal to be murdered for being openly gay. I take pride in who I am. I love who I am. And I really hope that this will help some of you. It's hard. Trust me, I know. Been there. But this is a fight worth joining. I honestly would not have it any other way. So comment down below your story. I would love to hear it, for those of you that are comfortable with it. Or comment down below of a time that you've stood up for a friend for being bullied for being gay. I would love to see how many of you are actually standing in solidarity with the LGBTQ plus community. That's all I want in life, is for us all to stand as one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was dramatic. I know it was a little sad at times, but that's my truth and that's my story. For now, until something else happens. Be sure to follow me on all of my social media links down below. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.